My name is Mandy Frost, and I'm an academic life coach to students and a coach to parents. And today I would like to tell you a little bit more about my Go program group coaching curriculum and how it came about. I coach individual students, and what I was finding that parents, particularly parents who are homeschooling their children, were looking for curriculums. And so what I decided to do was develop a curriculum for home education where students can receive 70 hours of elective credits. And what I found that parents like to, put this onto their transcripts, and that's why this program came about. It's an online program, it's done on Zoom, but I use a lot of multi-sensory ways of engaging the student and getting them engaged. It's not a normal, boring Zoom class. I know we're all kind of like zoomed out right now, and I've kind of just using tools that help them to stay engaged, like the whiteboard, the annotations. We look at images, we talk about how that how it speaks to the students. And so I really do get them engaged. I use some short video clips and constantly asking them questions as a coach, and I'll tell you more about how that actually works. So what is the purpose of this Go program? It's a 15-week. The purpose is to help students take more ownership of their lives, to be more self-driven learners and more self-motivated. With greater self-awareness, because what this class does is gives them a greater self-awareness and also helps them with their executive function skills, those skills that they struggle with to get organized, time management, planning, prioritizing, where to start, how to start, all of those skills they really struggle with. And so this coaching curriculum will help them in those areas. Self-awareness is a really big aspect when it comes to coaching. And if anything, your student will receive a lot of self-awareness as well as confidence. Self-awareness as regards to what's working in my life, what's not working in my life, where can I challenge myself? And so these are the questions, because I ask more questions. I'm not a teacher. I don't tell the students what to do. I don't advise them. I'm always asking the questions because I want them to have that self-awareness. I want them to think about how they are going to problem solve and what will be the best solution for them. And this is where the self-awareness comes in. And when they make those actions, when they realize what they need to do, there's a lot more excitement, there's a lot more buy-in, and there's a lot more motivation to actually follow through with those things that they've decided to do. Also, coaching with the self-awareness helps them to see what's holding me back. What are those things that are stopping me from moving forward and seeing more meaningful results. And so the benefits, there's a lot of benefits to coaching. Coaching really coaches the whole person. And so, all the things that I've mentioned are really like motivation, confidence, self-awareness. The student also improves in their communication, relationships, emotional regulation. That's a big one because we talk a lot about mindsets, what's holding them back, how they see themselves. And so really coaching helps in all areas of life to help them with more personal development, which ultimately does affect their grades and their success and their academic success. And so tell you a bit more about the program, and I think I have mentioned that it's going to be 70 elective credits. Maybe I haven't mentioned that, but that was one of the other reasons why homeschool parents were interested in this curriculum, because they're looking for elective credits. And so this program is equivalent to 70 elective credit hours. It is 15 weeks. It's got 15 modules. And I'll give you an example of what the book looks like. They get a hard copy. Book. Each student receives this in the mail. And they love that because it gives them something that they can take away with after the class, after the 15 weeks, and they can refer back to it. They write down their notes. It's kind of like their own personal journal, and they can go back and see what they're learning and what they've learned. And it can really, because they're going to be learning coaching tools that are going to help them in life into the future, and hopefully they will refer back to these tools and strategies that they have learned in this class. And so I'm just going to give you a little bit of example of a couple of the modules that I'm going to tell you about. And if you do want a sample of these 15 modules, please email me. I will send you a sample of what this looks like. And so just to give you a little bit of idea of what we do in this class. So the very first session, we kind of just meet each other. It's a way of getting to know each other. We have conversations about what is ownership. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to be more independent or to be more responsible? And so we kind of have this discussion of what that looks like. And then they'll set goals. In fact, I forgot to mention the very first thing that we do, let me go back in my book here, is I ask them questions like, what reasons did you sign up for this Go program? And very often I will get students saying, well, my mom signed me up or a parent signed me up, and that's okay. I just want them to write that down and let me know what is it that brought you to this program, because I'm getting curious as to, what are their expectations? What are they wanting out of this curriculum? Then I ask the question, how do you hope to benefit from this course? And so they've got to think about, where do you want to be in 15 weeks time? If your parents signed you up and perhaps maybe you're kind of not quite sure if you really want to be here, well, let's say you do really want to be here. What would you want to get out of these 15 weeks? Because it makes sense to set yourself a goal and think about, well, what's in it for me? Let me make the most out of these 15 weeks. And I really do get, all the students always have something that they want to get, whether it's more confidence, I want to be more motivated, I want to be able to hand my work in on time. They all have a goal that they want to achieve after 15 weeks. Even those students who are not quite sure if this is what they really want to do in this, come to this class. And then I ask them, if you got what you wanted by the end of this course, how would this impact your life? And that's really a great question, because I want them to think about, that vision, that thing that they want, like how could that really benefit their life? How could that make their lives better? Like, just sit in that place for a bit and imagine if you could be more organized. What does that mean for you each day? Imagine if you could be better at your time management, how much more free time you'll have to do the things that you love and those projects you enjoy. And so I'm really wanting to motivate them to see that there are benefits in getting what they want to get and why they want to get those things. And so coming back to the modules, we talk about goals. So that is their goal for the 15 weeks. And then what they'll also do is every session there'll be a call to action. What is your action for this week now that you've learned about time management or you've learned about motivation? What is your call to action? What do you commit to doing differently this week? What's that smart action look like? And this is really powerful, because they write that down in their book. They commit to doing something, whether it's starting a new exercise program, whether it is getting up earlier to finish work, whether it's getting work finished by 5 o'clock that week so I can do more fun things. They will have a mini goal, if you like, for that week, and then they will set up their action of how they're going to achieve that. And then during the week, we check in. There's a check-in question sort of halfway in the week. Okay, how is it going? How is it working? How is it not working? So there's that accountability. So there's accountability during the week, and that's on Google Classroom. We have all the life application exercises on Google Classroom. We have check-ins with the students. How's it going? We have a conversation going. And then again in the next session, we talk about, okay, what didn't work so well? What are you going to do differently this week? What got in your way? What were your distractions? And this is where the self-awareness takes place. It's really, powerful when they figure out, they have those aha moments. This is what I'm going to do differently. This is what is working for me. This what isn't working for me. So I'm not telling them what to do. They are becoming problem solvers for themselves. They're figuring it out, and they feel they have more choice. They have more control. There's more credibility in that as well when they are deciding for themselves, because they see that their ideas work. They see that they are creative and that they can figure out a plan of how they're going to move forward. And so they also realize their own challenges. They realize what's holding them back. I'm not telling them what their challenges are. I'm not telling them what difficulties they have. They figure that out for themselves, and they can then be more, their actions are then more intentional, and they have more meaningful results. And what we also do in probably the second session, we will talk about how to have a smart academic plan for the semester. How are you going to keep yourself on track? How are you going to keep yourself organized? What resources are you using? What strategies are you using? Whether it's planners or to-do lists. And this is what we discuss and we talk about in the class. And, they learn about other things that are working for other students. Well, my planner really works very well. I use sticky notes to remind me to do my work. Really works well for me. And so they get to choose and they get to decide what they're going to try up. Maybe they've never used a planner and maybe that's what they want to try. And so we brainstorm ideas of what that looks like. Okay, what are you, how are you going to move forward, and being aware of their distractions. That's what we do. And then just to give an example of some of the modules, I name them. The one module is called the Proactive Planner. Then we have the Motivated Mover. The Motivated Mover is all about motivation. What motivates you? What gets you going? How can you motivate yourself? And it's really important that they learn ways of self-motivation and what that looks like, so that they can just know the ways that work best for them, and what motivational styles they can draw on. What are the benefits of each of those styles we talk about? And then what I find very interesting is students kind of, when they start doing this class, they think about motivation as like a feeling, like I'm going to wait to feel motivated to do something and then I'll get to do it. But they realize, as we coach, they realize that motivation is less of a feeling and more of an action. They realize that motivation is, to create motivation, you've got to start movement. Movement creates motivation. And I get students to think up their own definitions of what motivation means to them. And I get wonderful definitions of how they're seeing it more as a movement. Because once they get started, because students find it very hard to get started, to actually know where to start and how to start. Once they get started, they realize that builds momentum and they get motivated to get in the flow and, continue with their work. Then I have the Mindful Maker. The Mindful Maker is helping them explore growth mindsets, fixed mindsets, and where are they getting stuck in a fixed mindset, and what areas of their lives, and to be aware of what those areas are. And that's where the coach questions comes into it. Where are they getting stuck in their thinking? And what narrative is in their head? What false assumptions are they believing about themselves? How are they seeing themselves? What is their self-concept? It's all about self-concept, how they see themselves, and what is the truth about them. And so we explore mindsets and emotions as well, and thought patterns. Another one is called the Resilient Responder, and that is all about helping them handle setbacks and challenges. How do they develop more resilience and grit and perseverance? And exploring the relationship to failure and when they mess up. Students are very afraid to fail, and it's just getting to the realization that you need to fail forward. It's about failing forward in order to succeed. And so it's about failing forward, learning through those failures and those mess ups, those mistakes. So that's how you learn the most. And so when students don't follow through on their actions every week, this is actually a great learning experience for them, because they learn what doesn't work. And they realize that that's the most learning that takes place, is when they're actually making those mistakes. And I'm also very open about my mistakes, because I want to create an environment where they feel comfortable to share in a small group. I only have 6 to 10 students. It's really small. And I am often sharing my mistakes, sharing those blunders that I do, because, hey, we all do this. We all mess up. It's okay. And so I want them to feel comfortable with that, and being in a comfortable, non-judgmental environment for them. Then there's also the Strength Seeker. That's all about exploring values, exploring strengths, abilities. What is their mission? What vision do they have of their lives? What does that look like? And just getting more clarity and confidence for the way forward, for the future. And so there's a lot of modules. There are, as I said, there's 15 modules. It's 15 weeks. If you would like a sample of those, please email me, go to my website. You can also just contact me on one of the contact forms on my website, mylifecoach360.com. And what I want to just finish off with here is, what makes my services different? What makes this curriculum different? And I really want to say that my uniqueness is a three-way partnership. A three-way partnership with coach, student, and parent. And so in this group coaching class, I email parents every week. I tell them these are the life application exercises that your student is doing. Here are some of the video assignments. Here are some of the assignments. And what I'm finding, parents really enjoy that. They like to see what their students are learning. And often I'm finding a lot is the parents follow along with the videos. They watch the videos. They continue the conversation with their student. And they're able to support their students because they know what they're learning. And I also give support every week. And this is how you can support your student. These are the kind of coach questions you can ask your student. And, I'm very big on how to create those conversations for connection, how to have pre-planned conversations, particularly when there's conflict. Very often we want to get in there and just tell them what they're doing wrong, tell them what they shouldn't be doing, but it's more of a coach-parent mindset, and that's how I support my parents. So when your student takes this class, parents receive an unbelievable amount of value and resources and free videos and support by email. And I also give parents 2 group coaching calls together in a group for more support, for feedback, for progress, how your students are doing, any questions you want to ask about the coach-parent mindset, because that's what I do as well with parents as a separate thing. Parents can join my membership and also membership workshops on how to become more of a coach-parent and be more asking questions, helping them with more buy-in, more motivation, getting them to see themselves as creative and capable and credible. And so there's a different way of showing up. So being a coach parent is a different way of showing up. And so I give a lot of support with regards to that, a lot of extra value that parents will get, even when when your student does this program, the parent gains a lot of value at the same time. And so it is a very small group. It's 6 to 10 students. I like to keep it small. And you can also receive a really big discount. You can ask me more about that for independent homeschool families who are not with charter schools. When you want to, you can get 30 to 50% off for your students. So let me know. Ask me about that because the seats are limited. There's limited places depending on what classes are available and what days. And so I hope this has been helpful. You may go to my website to learn more about this program, or send me an email or go to my website and let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you and I'd love to support your family.